Human hair or synthetic? Is this the question you're asking yourself when you're about to get your first wig? Then I'm hopefully here to help. Now, if you're a first-time wig wearer and have no idea what the different hair and fiber qualities are and what you should look out for, then stick around and let's get started. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah, and this video is part of my beginner series where I'm trying to help wig newbies at the beginning of their journey. And first of all, I would like to debunk a myth that says only human hair looks like real hair. And I can tell you that is not true. The wig I'm wearing is made of synthetic fibers, and I think it looks, moves, and feels just like genuine human hair. Wouldn't you agree? I've been wearing wigs for many years, and I also had human hair wigs in the past, but it's a long time ago, and I've been sticking to synthetic fibers for the last couple of years. Now, if you have no idea what the differences are between human hair and synthetic hair and the different qualities in human hair or the difference in synthetic fibers, I hope this video sheds a little light and answers your questions. Let's start with human hair. The biggest advantage of human hair is that it looks the most realistic, of course, since it is human hair. Of course, nowadays, synthetic hair also looks and feels like human hair, and people won't be able to tell the difference if you have a high-quality wig, of course. But no matter how good the fibers are, the best fibers you can get are, of course, wigs made of human hair. But there are also big differences in the qualities of human hair, and more or less there are three categories or qualities of human hair. Now, the best quality in human hair is North European hair in the color light blonde, because this is the rarest type that you will find and also the finest hair of all. The second category is called Indian hair that has its origin in India and also resembles European hair in tenure and structure. It's also very fine hair, but of course most of the times it's black hair, and of course that hair has to be bleached and colored to achieve the different hair colors we Caucasians are looking for. And the least expensive human hair is Asian hair. Now, like everything else that comes from Asia, it's always cheaper than things that are produced in Europe or America. But the thing is that Asian hair is much thicker and has a higher tenure as Caucasian hair. So wigs made of Asian hair never look the same as ones made of European hair and won't look that realistic on Caucasians. Also, the Asian hair is often treated with chemicals to make it finer, so it's stripped of the cuticle of the hair and of course bleached, and afterwards it's covered with a layer of silicone, so it's smoother again and won't tangle as easily. Now, the Indian hair, since it is as fine as European hair, mostly is just bleached and colored, but the cuticle is not peeled off. So it's still intact and also won't tangle that much. But really the best hair you can get is European human hair, and the lighter and blonder you want. If you want a real blonde that is not bleached, this will be the most expensive hair, of course. Now, there's another term you might have read before, and this is Remy human hair. Now, hair is called Remy when all the hairs go in the same direction, meaning that the hair is cut off in one place and all the tips of the hair go in the same direction. Also, Remy hair still has an intact cuticle and hasn't been chemically treated. And this will make sure that your wig won't tangle no matter what you're wearing and how long the hair is. So if you have quite a long wig and are wearing scarves, for example, the hair won't be tangling and knotting as with synthetic fibers or low-quality human hair. It will move and react just like your bio hair. Now, one tail of hair that has been cut off will cost a wig maker approximately $2,000, and I'm not sure if one pigtail of hair is enough to make a full wig. So this might give you an idea why Remy human hair wigs are as expensive as they are. Now, you might have seen human hair wigs on Amazon, for example, or many Asian wig shops offer human hair wigs or hair products that aren't necessarily bad, but they will never look as realistic on a Caucasian woman as Remy European hair. I'm not quite sure how much these wigs cost, since I've never bought one of these, but I think they are starting at around $1,500 to $2,000, and I'm quite sure there's no price limit going up, depending on the length of the hair, of course. Now, human hair wigs are also less maintenance, When it comes to maintaining the fibers, meaning the smoothness of the fibers, I think they don't need to be treated and conditioned as often as synthetic fibers, and they will definitely last you much longer than a synthetic wig. And if you care well for your human hair wig, it will definitely last you much longer than a synthetic wig. But it's also much more expensive, of course. Now, there are definitely very, very real-looking human hair wigs. I can't show you one myself since I don't have one, but here's one, for example, from another YouTuber that looks so extremely realistic. I'm just in awe when I see that. These human hair wigs are really well done, and I guess completely hand-tied, so of course they will look that realistic. But of course, human hair wigs also have some disadvantages. Now, like your bio hair, your human hair wig will react the same way to weather conditions, humidity, and water. So if you have styled your human hair wig and it's very humid, it can fall flat, or if you have straightened it, it can start to cringe and get very curly. And when you're caught in the rain or swim and dive with your human hair wig, there won't be much of any curls or waves left after the hair dries, unless of course you have a perm. But you should consider this when you're making the decision to get human hair or synthetic fibers. So let's talk about synthetic wigs next. Like I said, I've been wearing synthetic wigs for years now and don't plan on going back to human hair just because I love the advantages of synthetic wigs. Now, there are two categories of synthetic fibers. There's the regular synthetic and the heat-defiant or heat-friendly synthetic. Now, this wig I'm wearing is regular synthetic. That means I can't change the style with regular heat tools like a straightening iron or a curling wand and so on. If you did use your heat tools, you would probably damage or even melt the synthetic fibers. But the biggest advantage of synthetic fibers is that the hairdo is basically baked into the fibers, and the synthetic fibers have a memory, meaning that your hairdo will always return no matter what you do. When you're in bad weather, when it's very humid, when your hair gets wet, in the rain, or when you're swimming, it will resume the same style it had before when it's dry, and it dries much faster than human hair. And that, of course, also applies when you wash your wigs. Unless you're using really hot water, which you shouldn't do, you should wash your synthetic fibers in cold or lukewarm water at the most, so the style will look the same after washing and air drying it. And I personally find that so great that you never have a bad hair day, and when everyone else is having troubles with their hair because of the weather conditions, your hair will always look great. Now, there are certain heat tools that were developed for synthetic fibers that won't damage your wigs. If you, for example, want to straighten a curly or wavy style, you can use the new flat iron by Rene of Paris that looks like a brush and is also safe to use on regular synthetic, and you can completely straighten the style with that. If you want to add curls or waves to a regular synthetic style, it's more difficult, and you would have to use a steamer and rollers, for example, to set the curls. But other than that, you shouldn't use your heat tools on regular synthetic. Now, there are, of course, synthetic fibers that are heat-friendly, or they are also called heat-defiant, HD fibers, heat-friendly, and so on. And the advantages of these fibers are that they look and feel even more realistic than regular synthetic, although there are, of course, very high-quality synthetic fibers like these. The heat-defined fibers aren't as shiny as the regular synthetic, and you can style them with your heat tools as long as you don't turn up the heat over a certain temperature. That is around 300 to, I think, 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I hope I remember correctly, but you better check the manufacturer's instructions that come with your new wig. But the good thing is, if you alter a style and straighten it, for example, it will stay that way. And also, if you add waves or curls to your heat-defined synthetic fibers, these will also stay in no matter what. Even after washing your wig, it will return to the same waves or curls that you put in and stay that way until you change the style again with heat, of course. So that's really great, and I love what you can do with these fibers. Now, when you're heat styling your heat-defiant fibers, make sure that you hold or pin up the curl after curling it with your curling wand, for example, until it's completely cooled off, since it will best assume the curl or wave when you let the fibers completely cool off. I personally love and prefer heat-defined fibers, but I also have great styles in regular synthetic too. Now, the heat-defined fibers are said to be more maintenance, and that also depends on the length of your hair. The longer the hair, the more you have to care for it to keep it smooth and in shape. Now, the shorter your wig, the less you will have problems like tangling and knotting of the fibers. So if you wear your hair, let's say above chin length or some pixie cut, you won't have these problems. But if you have longer hair like this or even longer, you should always detangle your wig after wearing. That is really important if you want it to stay beautiful as long as possible. You should definitely always use a white tooth comb for detangling, and I highly recommend a detangler that is made for synthetic fibers. I always have the Jon Renau detangler, but there are others by Estetica or Hair You Wear that are just as great or even better, what I've heard. I haven't tried them yet, but I can tell you the Jon Renau detangler really does the trick, and detangling is so smooth and easy. You should never try it without if you don't want to risk pulling off some hairs out of your wig. Now, I'm planning on making a video on all the tools and products you should get to care for your synthetic wig. But the basics you definitely should get is a synthetic wig shampoo and a conditioner for synthetic fibers, and also a detangler unless you're just wearing short styles. Oh, and another thing you should pay attention to when wearing a synthetic wig is stay away from a hot oven. Even with heat-defined fibers, but definitely with regular synthetic, you should never open your hot stove, because the heat wave that is coming out when you open it will definitely damage your fibers. It usually will get very frizzy and curly at the hairline, or I've also seen pictures where a whole side has almost melted and the fibers have cringed or frizzed and look terrible, and there's no way you can save a wig that has been burnt. So make sure to remember to stay away from your hot stove when you're wearing a synthetic wig. Now, you're probably expecting me to give you a recommendation whether you should get a human hair or synthetic hair wig, but unfortunately no one can take that decision of you, since that decision is just personal preference. If you really want a human hair wig and know you will only feel safe in human hair, then you should definitely get one. But if you're like me and want to change your looks and have several wigs and hairstyles, I would suggest get a synthetic wig, but also get good quality, of course, and stick to brand name wigs. But also, that is personal preference. It's like the question if you should get a lace front or a monofilament to feel better and know your wig looks so realistic. But if you love wearing bangs, there's no need in getting a lace front, since this would just make it more expensive, and there's no need for a lace front if you're wearing a full bang. So I hope this video was helpful and you're better informed for making the decision whether to get a human hair or a synthetic wig. If you liked it and you haven't done so, please also subscribe to my channel so you won't miss my future videos, and there's a new one coming out each Friday. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comments below and I will definitely reply. Thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I hope you're well. Stay that way, and I will see you again soon in my next video. Take care. Bye-bye.